loving television, and I grew up as a real big sci-fi geek. And I've obviously gotten to work in sci-fi a lot before The Librarians, which is what we call it in the States, Flynn Carson. I have never gotten to do adventure sci-fi, and adventure sci-fi with comedy. So this felt like a dream job when it came my way. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. And
Elle a vu Star Wars au cinéma.
s'il vous plaît. And I used to read X-Men comic books when I was a kid, and I watched Star Trek on television. Twilight Zone was my favorite movie. My favorite TV series. So, you know, and I love Comic-Con. It's a place that really brings the fringe people together, the people who feel just on the outside. It's a place for everyone to celebrate, and everybody who feels just a little bit different from the mainstream comes together to celebrate. It's special. And it's silly. We know it's silly. We know we're making something that's silly, but it's also special. It's about magic. We're happy to bring magic into the world. John Rogers, who helped create the show, has a background in physics and comedy. So he actually is able to explain magic from a very scientific, real place, which really helps. And as far as the rest of the cast goes, our camaraderie is really special. And now that we've done season 3, we know each other inside and out. We know our characters inside and out. We play off of each other very well, and we laugh very hard. We work long hours. We work quickly. We shoot each episode in 7 days, which is very fast. And so sometimes we get it in one take and then we move on. But it's a challenge, and we have a really good time doing it, and we like to keep each other on our toes.
So far, like something that pops out.
Wow, we have a lot of fun on the show, so that's tough. Anytime we're with John Larroquette, I don't know if people are familiar with the great John Larroquette who plays Jenkins, but he takes things off the page and improvises, and it's such a challenge to keep from laughing, because that slows our day down. But so anytime we're working with him is amazing. The whole cast is really incredible, but there's something in season 3 where we have to go to a carnival, and our portal in the car, we have to go undercover dressed as clowns to the carnival. And the portal that day to get into the carnival was through a smart car, and all 4 of us, the 3 librarians in training and me, we had to wait every time, and the 4 of us inside a smart car together. And I took a picture of us inside the car, but nobody ever got a shot of us, all 4, inside that smart car. But being inside that car with the 4 of us, we were laughing so hard. It was the best. And I remember thinking, I'll never forget this moment. This is so funny. Uncomfortable, but funny. At Comic-Con, I once met a purple Mystique. And I didn't want to point out the one glaring problem with that costume. It's the wrong color.
So you didn't say anything?
I didn't say anything because I didn't want to point it out. And maybe she ran out of blue paint. I don't know.
Donc le pire, c'était une mystique.
Widow was something I was always interested in.
La veuve noire.
C'est into that. Donc Black Widow.
The Dorian Gray episode too. My favorite.
I just need to translate the question.
Oh.
Okay. Donc,
Dorian Gray was very good. I think personally, my first favorite was the finale of season 1, when Eve Baird was able to go to all 3 alternate realities and see all 3 librarians in training as the librarian, which plays into season 3, because in season 3, Eve Baird, having seen all 3 of them as the librarian, is going to help train them to reach their full potential. So that was a special one. I love the finale of season 1. And then in season 2, the happily ever afters, where we all go to live in that small town and we're all living our fantasy happily ever after story, where Eve Baird gets to be the sheriff, the happy sheriff of the town. That was another favorite. And then my other favorite was the finale of season 2, where we meet Shakespeare. We've talked about that a lot. In fact, we have a running joke since we've been here in Paris. Every time we see someone from the back who looks just like Brian De Palma, we keep pointing it out. And there are a lot of people who actually look like Brian De Palma from the back here. I don't know why. But there's like the same balding pattern, the same safari jacket that De Palma always wears. He always smokes some menthol cigarettes. I don't know if he still does. I hope not. But anyway, yeah, we've talked about that a lot. Yeah. To university as a voice major, and I grew up doing plays, and so actually I was an actress before I was even a model. And to be honest, when I came to Paris, modeling was just the kind of grooming that I needed, because I come from like a very hippie background, and I had never used makeup before. I didn't know how to put myself together, and I needed a little bit of help from the fashion world. I did leave my modeling career at a high point, and it was a gamble for me because I actually did have to turn my back on the fashion industry and on modeling when I was making a pretty good living, and I had to close the door on that before I really committed myself to a career in acting, and I think it was worth it to me, because I think people who try and do both, they're not necessarily taken seriously. That's the gamble you take. In movies before the television series that starred Noah Wyle, and I do think that Indiana Jones was the reference, but it's like slapstick Indiana Jones. It's, you know, physical comedy Indiana Jones, so it's a little more ridiculous than Indiana Jones. I grew up loving Indiana Jones, so that's why I wanted to be a part of it. But yeah, it's like Indiana Jones plus slapstick. But you know, in television, we don't know until the current season airs, so we have to wait and cross fingers.
Donc, any issues with that if it created any problem?
My children each have 2 heads. Is that a problem?
Non. Elle veut juste savoir si le fait que ses enfants aient 2 têtes, ce soit un problème. Ils pensent qu'à Comic-Con c'est normal d'avoir 2 têtes, donc tout va bien.
No, the makeup process was difficult, and like I said, they had to give me 24 hours off in between because it was like 75% of my body was covered in the silicone prosthetics. And when I'm working for 24 hours, there's nowhere for the sweat to go. And so they would have to give me 24 hours off in between for my skin to breathe. So that was a little bit of a problem, but they would schedule it and we figured it out. There was a story that I told a long time ago, and I think this is what you're talking about. We didn't have a properly ventilated makeup trailer on the first movie, and so they would spray all the makeup all over me, which was always in the air, and I was inhaling all the blue spray, the makeup, it was airbrush makeup. And on our last night of production, when we wrapped the movie, we all celebrated doing shots of tequila, and I immediately vomited blue. Oh. It was all in my stomach.
Okay.
But it wasn't toxic, it was bad ventilation, and the glue fumes that made me a little bit sick. They fixed it. By the second movie, we had a very well ventilated trailer.
Donc en fait,
maybe my wife would prefer Jean Desjardins up here.
en fait, il dit que peut-être elle préfère Jean Dujardin.
All we need to get is a waterbed and Jean Desjardins for my wife.
Sounds like a good night.
Donc elle veut clairement un matelas aquatique et Jean Dujardin.
Ouais. They can go to Virgin Records together.
Allez,
Je crois qu'il a suivi le panel depuis le début.
Oui, il était dans la salle et
voilà.
là.
Donc elle ne le savait peut-être pas et elle pensait qu'il était en train d'acheter des sweatshirts pour leurs enfants ou quelque chose comme ça. Mais pas du tout, il était là, il a tout écouté, il a compris qu'en fait elle terminera sa vie avec Jean Dujardin. Et ça c'est assez incroyable. Et est-ce que vous êtes aussi un geek comme votre femme?
Are you a geek as well, like your wife?
Well, yes. I mean, I've been in a number of films that have brought me to Comic-Con, but it's so fun to come to Paris Comic-Con because all the geeks are très chic.
Donc il a fait un certain nombre de films de projets qui ont permis d'aller à Comic-Con, mais c'est très fun d'aller au Comic-Con Paris parce que ici les geeks, nous on est très chic.
Bon, comment s'est comportée votre femme là pendant ce panel? Ça s'est bien passé? Vous êtes content? Elle a bien répondu?
Did you enjoy the panel, watching your wife answer the questions?
Vous avez appris des choses sur elle?
Did you learn things about her?
You know, I mean, joking aside, I love the librarians, and
Jerry was on the librarians.
I think we're not supposed to say that. I think that was a spoiler.
Oh no, he was not on the librarians. I won't translate it.
Well, he was in season 1. He was in season 1 of Librarians, and it's in the finale, and it is a spoiler if you haven't seen the series. And I know just from being here that France is less familiar with Flynn Carson than in the States, but yeah, there is a spoiler. I'm sorry, I just ruined it for everyone who has not seen season 1 of Flynn Carson. Jerry is in the series.
Donc déjà, il voulait dire que sans blague, il est fan de la série, et elle a dit mais d'ailleurs il est dans la série, et là il y a eu une grosse panique sur est-ce que c'est un spoiler. Donc il est dans la saison 1, donc ceux qui n'ont pas vu la saison 1, désolé, mais vous avez quelque chose enfin vous savez pourquoi il faut la voir.
C'est une raison supplémentaire pour la regarder.
Supplémentaire, et parce qu'elle sait que les gens en France n'ont pas encore vu autant d'épisodes ou ne connaissent pas aussi bien la série qu'aux États-Unis, donc c'est pour ça qu'elle s'inquiétait pour vous. Mais oui, il est dans la saison 1.
But it is really fun to see, like that last young lady who you follow on. Yeah, Carla Bassett-Turner. My wife we follow you on social media, so it's fun to finally see people in the flesh.
Et donc, par exemple, il dit c'est très fun de voir des gens, notamment elle, dont je ne connais pas le nom par cœur aussi bien que Rebecca, parce qu'ils la suivent sur les réseaux sociaux et de la voir en vrai, c'est très excitant.
Mais Jerry, vous avez aussi tourné dans un film avec un cinéaste français, on l'oublie, mais vous avez tourné dans Piranha 3D, qui est qui est un film
Great movie.
ultra comic-con.
Best death scene. Remember the death scene?
Mais bien sûr,
Yeah.
ultra comic-con, Piranha 3D tourné par Alexandre Aja, film culte, j'espère que vous l'avez vu et que surtout vous l'avez vu en... Comment? Ben, c'est une très très bonne question, voilà, donc il a osé la poser. How's your penis?
Question.
How's your penis? Comment va votre pénis?
Hang on, first of all, parce qu'il y a eu du français et de l'anglais, let's bring it back. I'm just going to translate it.
Je me suis demandé comment va son pénis, puisque...
First, let's translate. Kids, plug your ears.
I mean, no. First, I need to translate the first thing she understood and responded to without telling you. So he's just curious about the fact that you worked with a French director, and then she jumped in and said, yeah, it's a cool movie, Piranha. I can't pronounce that word in English.
Is it the same word?
Piranha.
Piranha.
We just sound it sounds well different. 3D, which is a cult movie and has a French director, and then someone asked about your penis over there.
That's where I said you're supposed to say, kids, plug your ears.
Oh yeah, but they don't speak English.
It'll be funny.
Ok, fermez les oreilles les enfants.
Alex Aja is the best. He is so cool, and we just knew we were making, I knew we were making something special when we were making that film. And it's funny, coming to Paris, a lot of people were recognizing me, and you know, I'm an older guy. I was in a show called Sliders, but that was a long time ago, and I didn't know what was happening. And we got into an Uber yesterday, and the guy was like, Piranha. And I said, oh yeah, I was in Piranha. And he said, the fish ate your penis.
Again, that's a spoiler. Sorry.
But I mean,
Donc so it's a common occurrence with French fans. Donc il dit que c'est bon, déjà il dit que Alexandre Aja est un mec incroyable et il est très heureux de cette expérience. Et effectivement, en venant à Paris, il comprenait pas parce qu'il y a plein de gens qui le reconnaissaient. Il dit j'ai fait Sliders il y a un certain temps, j'ai plus le même âge, je comprends pas pourquoi les gens me reconnaissent même s'il y a toujours autant d'enthousiasme pour cette série. Et il allait il comprenait pas pourquoi les gens reconnaissaient jusqu'à ce qu'ils prennent un Uber hier, Uber, je sais jamais dire en français, hier, et que le personne dise Piranha, il a mangé le poisson. Je dirais pas le mot en français, c'est les enfants. I don't say the word in French because it's kids right there.
Bon, on a la chance d'avoir donc Rebecca et Jerry ici. On a le temps de prendre 2-3 questions.
Une dernière question, je crois.
On a le temps pour une dernière question. Allez, alors
voilà, une dernière question, mais je pense pas